Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I have my latest video, and man, have I been going through it. If, the people that have been watched my last video know my son, who's one of twins, my two six-year-old sons, one of them is nicknamed Cars. We call him Cars, and he he was just getting real lethargic, and he was starting to lose some weight, and we're like, what the heck's going on? And then one day he was really like kind of looking gray and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then we were praying, and we're expecting for him to turn around, and just many times the whole time. I mean, I have an almost 18-year-old daughter. My older son is almost 12, and a two 6-year-old twin sons. And this whole time having kids, we pray for them, and they recover, and pretty much on everything. I mean, some sicknesses, they just have to, work themselves out, the body just cleansing itself and all that. But so many things they've been able to get healed right away. Even, people that we know, I mean, even ourselves and things like that. And then, we find out that he had him diagnosed, and he has type 1 diabetes. And it's like, we got smacked just hard. So, and we've just been under it, like just giving him shots every few hours, and I mean all that stuff, the whole rigmarole thing, and then just being in this whirlwind of all that. And then this last 2 weeks, and this has been a little over 2 weeks since this has been going on, almost 3 weeks now, I think. And just a little bit after that started, then my back started going out, and massive issues with my muscles in my back and stuff. And I have a weak spot in my upper back I've had my whole life. Um, and usually, I mean, for a long time I've been able to get through it, or it would just be better. And then man, it was just hitting me hard. Just so many things. So anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to just go into this, but I'm going to share more towards the end of this video about my son, and update you on him and everything too. And some more things at the very end. So I just wanted to say that, man, I've been going through it. I was going to put out a video about this last time frame that I was thinking about. I posted on Telegram talking about that, but I just couldn't. I couldn't even sit down and do this stuff for any length of time to put stuff together. And then, and now in the last couple of days, I've been finishing up some of the stuff I've been putting together, and I can sit down. I've been praying like a praying like a banshee. I mean, praying like a crazy man almost. Anyway, so, and things have been turning around to some degree. My son's doing really good right now, and then I'm doing better, but still, it's just, so I cover your prayers. Thank you so much for everybody's prayers, for my son, of course, and then for me, my family in general. A little bit of froggy throat, so I want to apologize ahead of time. I ate a little bit ago and had some kind of a spicy stuff, so my throat's a little funky. I love the spice. I love the spice, but the spice doesn't love me. It just doesn't. So let's just keep going here. So, man, I am so excited about this red heifer thing. The red heifer was sacrificed, and that is a picture of it being sacrificed. And they told everybody it was a smaller kind of ceremony. They told everybody that basically the people who were in the Temple Institute, they kind of made it like they kind of did it on the side. With the guy who supplied them the red heifers from Texas. And I'm going to get into that. And the evidence shows that they did do this. So they sacrificed a perfect red heifer. And then the rest of them are not, you'll see this in a second here. So I'm going to go right into it. So first of all, again, I'm the Exalted Lamb 1 on YouTube, and just Exalted Lamb 1 on Telegram. My motto is having no part in the worthless deeds of darkness, but instead exposing them, from Ephesians 5:11. And that's what I've been called by the Lord Jesus, who I know as my personal friend, and he's my Savior, and he's my Lord. Not just my Savior, he's my Lord and Master. And he's given me breadcrumbs on this trail to share with people what's coming. And someday, very soon, and I could have it right this time, we'll see. I'm always guessing. It's always my best guess. So, I'm never prophesying that this is going to definitely happen at this time, nothing like that. And even all the events that I talk about, which are pinned to the top of comments on this video, even all the events, I mean, most of them I think are right. And I've gotten dreams and visions about most of them as much as over 10 years ago. And even more recently, I've had some things too, and more insight about that. But I've added over time with understanding how gematria works, symbolisms, all kinds of things. So we jump right into it, including the rule of Kal-El, which is in Freemasonry. And the Lord Jesus has taught me a lot about Freemasonry. In fact, I've met a couple Freemasons through online, and also I've talked to one in particular, and I corresponded with another one that knew about my videos and wanted to share stuff with me. Another one I literally talked to for a while, and that was a couple years ago, and he confirmed many things I've said. And he was part of a big, huge family, southeast family that all of you are sure have heard of, but I can't say anything more about. And I've shared some of that in the past, but anyway, and he confirmed a bunch of things, like this example of the rule of Kal-El. The Kabbalist rule of Kal-El states that one digit can be added to or subtracted from the gematria value of a word without affecting its value. This seems to modern ears to be a cheat. However, for the Kabbalists explained the rule by pointing out that for them, one was not a number. The monad symbolizes the divinity and could come and go as he pleased, adding nothing and taking nothing away. And I also want to say, in the settings on this, go to the top, I believe, wherever it is on this video. You can click on that, and you can literally speed me up. Some people don't like how fast I speak. You can speed me up, and you can listen to me a little bit quicker. And speed me up 1.25 times or 1.5 times, or if you're really adventurous, 2 times the speed. Or you can slow me down. So if you want, if you think I speak too fast, you can slow me down. It's all on the settings on this video. On YouTube, has that available. So this is the first time I really said that, because I just do what I do and I'm inspired and I just go as fast as I go. It's hard to slow it down because I'm just getting it. I'm talking as I'm getting it. I have these slides, of course, but then I'm just letting myself be inspired by, what the Lord's showing me, what he's telling me, what's going through my head at the time, So anyway, I predicted that the red heifer would be sacrificed on this day, and the day is 7/1, July 1st. Back on July 1st, it was sacrificed, I believe, and I'm going to try to show you as much evidence as I can. I'm not going to make this a huge video. I could show you more, okay, that I have, but that's my normal thing. I show a video and then I have like 10 times more info on things, or maybe 100 times more info on things than I can show. But I don't have 100 times more on this. Maybe 5 or 6 times more. But the big stuff I'll be showing you. So, and that includes gematria and symbolism and all kinds of stuff. Dates and stuff and such. So 7/1 red heifer sacrifice. So I was right about that, I believe. And then also, I just want to share this. The next thing I have on here at that time was USS Abraham Lincoln is called out for service by the Navy and proceeds across the Pacific Ocean. Well, the video I was going to make I was going to talk about the 18th and 19th of August. Literally, that's when it started going across the Pacific Ocean. And here it is, basically at this point, going across on the 18th and 19th, reaching this point. And so I said it would be on the first days, and so it was. Now the 18th and 19th are not going to be on Gregorian. They're going to be, I believe, and I'm going to try to do my best to prove that to my best, the best guess is that it's the Julian calendar. So 18th and 19th of August on the Julian calendar, and then that is August 31st and September 1st on the Gregorian. Okay, so, and then that's what I had right here again. So these things, this happened on that day, and then another timeline, my last timeline, which I didn't get a chance to put out really, which is fine, because it's going to be more accurate, I think, being 8:18 and 8:19 on the Julian, and then Gregorian is 8:31 and 9:1. So they sacrificed this bad boy. This is some artwork on that. This is the actual picture in the area. Now, this guy I'm going to talk about here, this guy right here, Byron Stinson, he's the cattle rancher guy in Texas that sent them 5 of them that were qualified at the time, and then they received those in September, and actually September 15th, which is the very last day of the timeline, and that's not on accident, but it was in 2022. And I could get more into that about that, but that's crazy. The timing on that. September 15th is the last day of the timeline, of this timeline that I'm going to talk about here. And he said himself that when this happened, this is the burning from July 1st. It was not on the Mount of Olives, and some Jewish leaders feel it does not pass all requirements that they support, but it was real and has. And I'm having a hard time reading. I need glasses now. I'm an old man. I'm going on 53, and I need reading glasses. But this is a lot smaller. But I think last time I looked at this, I had reading glasses on. But it was real, and the first in 2,000 years. Some will say all you need to follow is the Torah. Need is to follow the Torah. We did that. Others have a higher standard under the oral Torah. Many will never agree, so there'll be dispute, okay, on that. But the world is changing fast, and I believe this ceremony changed something in the world. Which, okay, this is all secret stuff, and I'm looking at all the cues of this secret stuff. So I should be recognized. So it should be recognized as the first in over 2,000 years. Will there be more? Yes. Okay, let me read down here. Many will continue to question dispute. Remember that, question, dispute. The fight against the ceremony and fight against the ceremony. Sorry. I just think the world needs to know the ceremony went perfect with a perfect priest in a place outside of the camp, and in the opinion of those I respect, we used a perfect red heifer, according to this priest and other people. And it was more backed up than that, and that's what the evidence shows. The ceremony was done before Hashem. Okay, anyway, you can read the rest of this, but there's so much. And I also learned that this guy that they've been, since he was a baby, been prepping, the Temple Institute has been prepping till he did this when he's 20 years old. And they lent this guy out to do this, and the Temple Institute has been training this guy since he was a baby to do this specifically, and they let him do this. That's not a coincidence. That's not normal. There's so many things about this I could get into. And then right after this happened on July 1st, the Temple Institute posted this. Right after this, I think it was the next day. It's time to build, and there it is, the temple. I mean, that's a coincidence, and that there was nothing to that. Why would they say it's time to build if it was just a practice thing? So they're claiming, and different reports are claiming it was a practice thing, and it was a it was a red heifer that didn't qualify. That didn't qualify. It wasn't a perfect red heifer. That's what they're saying. But they did it under the radar because they didn't want more attacks. Because Hamas, one of their reasoning for attacking Israel on October 7th, 2023, was that they had these red heifers and they were going to prepare to build the temple, and that's not kosher for them. Get kosher anyway. And then also a little bit after July 1st, they put up this sign. Harbi et Hashem, whatever. That is a symbol for the temple, and Harbi et Hashem means the mount of the house of God. And that thing points. These are pointing to the direction where the temple is going to be, and they put up the sign right after that. Okay, there's a lot of evidence of this. It's crazy. And this was put up right after they just did a practice thing. I mean, well, that's possible, but not likely. This is the actual red heifer they used. And according to some different people, the different witnesses, including a guy named, what was his name again? Adam something? I can't remember his name. Anyway, I had a video on it. I was going to add to this. I'll throw it on Telegram probably. But anyway, this one was sacrifice. Anyway, and then it's the name of it is Tikva. And look, Tikva is the name of the red heifer, and it equals 7-1 or 71, July 1st, and that's a coincidence. I show this stuff all the time. It's not a coincidence. And so 71 is backwards 17, and 17 is 8 plus 9, and 8 plus 9 is 8, and 9 is 1 plus 8. So that's how you get 818 in that. That's what's hidden in there, okay? Also, 17 or 71 backwards is 17. 17 is 10-7. And that's the day that Hamas invaded Israel in 2023. And they claim that one of the big reasons why they did that is because they had these. So that's how this is connected. See this? And this is all coincidence? I don't think so. And the name Tikva is a Hebrew word meaning hope. Okay, and so I'll read this. And then, anyway. And then who had so here's hope. Okay, and hope equals 44. Who do you remember in the past that was all big on hope? this dude, okay? And he is the red heifer / red bull that's going to be sacrificed. And these numbers are going to show up. I'm going to show you how they're going to show up for 8/25, which is on the Julian, and then 9/7, or the 7th of September, on the Gregorian. Okay, so watch this though. Hope is 8. And then 1 + 5 + 1 + 6 + 5 is 18. Oh, look, 818. And hope just happens to be 818 and 44, like the 44th president. I don't think so. And so this is 818, like I said, not on the Gregorian. That's past, okay? And I was going through so much trial, and I couldn't get that out anyway. And that actually worked out good for that, even though, my back stuff wasn't good and everything else. But this date plus 13 days. So this is going to be on the Julian. Then you add 13 days to that. And then that is going to be on the pre-day of the timeline on the Gregorian. And that is 8/31, which is hiding what? That's the Day of the Dead, or the All Hallows Eve and all that stuff. The day of that death starts, which is Halloween. Halloween is October 31st, and Octo is really 8, 8/31. And what's 8/31? 8, 3 + 1 is 4, 8/4. And so he's Mr. 44th Prez, and he's born on August 4th, and that's all hope. And this is all a coincidence? I don't think so. Nope. And then here's an article on the Temple Institute. All red heifers have been disqualified. So basically, this is all for naught? I don't think so. Temple Institute says more than 2 decades of work to raise a biblically qualified red heifer have yet to yield a suitable candidate, despite efforts in both Israel and the United States, including the animals. So they're going to start all over? I mean, that's insane. By the way, this is all contrived. Anyway, all this stuff's all contrived. Do you think, for the Christians that know this stuff, I mean, a lot of people that aren't Christian have some kind of understanding of truth. They're not going to understand this, of course. People aren't going to understand this, but this is all facade. They're not literally going by everything. In fact, these are genetically altered so they can have the exact one they have to meet the timing of the exact time they need to do all this stuff. There's no organicness to any of this. And and I share this on my videos for so long. I have for 7+ years. This is all not organic. In Facebook posts titled, everything they even say, like I shared for hundreds and hundreds of videos of mine, this is all planned. All the titles, all the details are all numbers. They're all controlling everything. And like I showed you, and I'm going to show you on this video. So in Facebook post titled 3-Week Diary, Work on the Temple Institute, the Red Heifer, the organization confirmed that all our efforts so far have been frustrated by the appearance of more than one non-red hair on all the potential candidates. This includes every red heifer that made the trip from Texas to Israel. Okay, anyway, but yeah, they may say that, but then they sacrificed the one that wasn't, that they genetically altered in Texas or wherever they did it. I mean, this is all the story. You don't know. Okay, and by the way, the place that did this in Texas is right in the middle of the X that happened between 2 eclipses, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. The one that happened back in October 2023, October 14, 2023, and then which was a week after the invasion of Hamas, exactly 1 week, 7 days after the invasion of Hamas, about the red heifer and everything. It came from that right in the center point of those 2 eclipses. And the second eclipse I made that X was the one that happened on April 8th, 2024, the Great American Eclipse, the second Great American Eclipse of the other ones. I'll talk about this soon here, and then this article came out August 7th of this year, talking about that, hey, they're all disqualified, but then they sacrificed it on 7/1, really, and that's 7 days difference also. So August 7th, I'm doing it backwards here so you can see 7/8, or 7th of August, and then they did, oh, sorry, it wasn't 7 days. I have it backwards. But it was July. It was July 1st, but the 7/8 is going to be significant here because all these things show up. And then this was back in July 8th. That was 7 days difference. This one was reported 7 days after it happened. That July 8th, again, 7/8 again, 7/8, 7/8. Okay, this is reported right after this happened. Again, the same picture as I showed you in my thumbnail. Okay, a red heifer raised in Israel was disqualified for sacrifice after 2 black hairs were found in his body. It was used as a practice burning ceremony. That is not true. Okay, this thing was real, and they said this so they wouldn't have any more problems with the Arab world and also the world and hide it and do other. And I happen to know that there's different witnesses that have literally have some of the ashes, and they're using it to actually. They use the ashes to purify all the things that are going to go in the temple and everything else. And that's being done right now. And there's different witnesses that have said that have some of the ashes and all that. It's crazy. I'm not getting into all that. There's a lot more stuff. So Byron Stinson told RNS about the details of the practice ritual, which was held at 6 p.m. local time on July 1st, like I said here. Okay, and released photos and video on the ceremony. And I've seen those photos and the video on the ceremony. And there's several things that were obvious to me and suspect. And then a rabbi led the ceremony, and they didn't share that there was a special one that was 20 years old that was born for this event. It's just crazy, okay? And so that happened July 1st over there, but over here, it was because the timing on all this stuff and the timeline and everything about the destruction of Mystery Babylon, which is the United States, is all about the timing here. And then, yeah, there's also times we consider over there too, but over here, the timing of the timeline, everything is all over here, and it's usually 2 days anyway. But so this is in a sense a pre-day, and then this is the first day being a 1. Okay, but watch this, and this is a coincidence that Heifer equals 30th of June over here. See, 30th of June, and it also equals 5/1. 5/1 on the Roman calendar. 5 is the month of July. July is the 5th month on the Roman. So that this is July 1st or 7/1 on the Gregorian. See, July is the 5th month on the Roman calendar. And again, this is all revised Roman Empire stuff that I've shared many times. Okay, and then red heifer. Look, it's 78. See, 78? The two things I said were 78 and all that. And what's 7/8? Or what's 7th of August or August or July 8th? Either way, is hiding 25th of August. That's all going to be on the Julian. And then 13 days later is September 7th. Okay, now anyway, let's keep going here. Now, this is an article about Israel raises red heifer ritual in front of Al-Aqsa Mosque. Now, this was an actual ritual. They used a cutout of it didn't even look like a real red heifer. It had white and everything, and it was like a cutout. It was like a printed cutout, and they said that in here. It's a cutout cow, whatever. And this was the 7th of August last year. Again, 7/8. See, again, 7/8. This is all coincidence. 7/8/87, 7/8/87. No, it's not. Okay, again, 7 is 2 plus 5, 8. So this is hiding that this is going to, because like I've shared in previous videos, the red heifer and the red bull is Obama, the 44th Mr. Stinky B.O. He is going to be sacrificed on the 7th day, which is 2 plus 5. And then the 7th day on September is September 7th. Okay, so now watch. And then, so if you take that day and you add 13 days, like I said, is 7/9 or 7th of September. Now you can go September 9th that way. But for example, most of the world looks at it, the number or the day and then the month and then the year. But, United States and maybe a couple other places do it 9/7, whatever. It makes more sense. Day, month, and year. The smallest and the bigger than the biggest, whatever. But whatever, we do it. They probably do it because it's for programming over here. So, and then what's 7/9? Oh, Barack Obama. And it's in Luke 10:18. Lightning falling from heaven. Lightning from heaven, translated from the original Aramaic Hebrew, is Barack Obama, and then spelled out in English is Barack Obama, and that's 79, because he's going to be killed on the 25th of August on the Julian, and then you add 13 days of that, and you literally have the 7th of September, I believe. Again, this is all my best guess based on all the information I've had for years and years and what I currently have. And this is very compelling if you understand what you're looking at here. It's crazy. Okay, then we have October 7th, that invasion of Hamas that basically said, like I said, they said that they're doing it because of the red heifer. Now, if the real red heifer, this is all about the sacrifice of the Antichrist, and he's coming back to life. So this is the day he's going to die. Now watch, from this 10/7 297 is 710, 10-7 backwards. And that's a coincidence. These things are all over the place regarding these dates and these symbols and these names and all this stuff. It's crazy. And then from the day they sacrifice the red heifer to the day they're going to really sacrifice the real red heifer is 68. And what's 68? Barack Obama, not just Barack Obama, which is 79, but Barack Obama is 68, and that's 68 days from when they sacrificed the real red heifer that was perfect, that most people don't know yet, even though it's kind of getting out here and there, but most of the mass media, public and media doesn't know anything about it, and they did it on the sly because it's ushering in this timeline that's coming. And Israel's destruction as well, and this invasion of Israel that's coming, and all this stuff that's in the Bible. And then September 7th, again, is 68 days difference, and that's Barack Obama also? I don't think so. Okay, another thing, this red heifer is Tikva. Again, Tikva equals 71. Tikva is a anagram of Hitvak. Okay, an anagram of Tikva is Hitvak. Now that, what is that? Okay, watch. I knew right away that this was the Lord kind of put in my heart that this was a anagram, and immediately I thought Hitvak for some reason, and then I couldn't believe it confirmed that he was showing me this when I looked it up. The Hebrew word Hitvak translates to disputed or debated, and I was telling you earlier to remember when I was reading the information about Byron Simpson that he was saying that it's debated or disputed that this thing was the real one, and that he knows it is and all that stuff. And look at that. What are the chances of that? That's impossible. That Tikva, the actual red heifer that was sacrificed, is an anagram of Hitvak, and Hitvak means that this would be a sacrifice that is disputed or debated. Are you kidding me? No, this is all planned. I'm showing you it's planned. It's crazy. Okay, now, even more than that, look at Hitvak, which is the same. It's going to be the same numerology, but look how it's in order right here, because you put it in order right here like this. So you have 8, 9, I'm going to go 8, 9, 20, bring down 20, then 22 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 25. Now you can do this a few other ways, I'm sure, but the fact that it nails this, 8, 9 was another timeline, 8, 9, and 8, 10 I would talk about, because the pre-day is 9, and the first day is a 1 or a 10 or a 19 or something like that equals 10 or equals 1, but ultimately reduces down to 1. But the pre-day is also 9, or 1 plus 8 is 9. And that's in that? And that's a coincidence? I don't think so. Also, if you go from the so-called worldly birth of Israel, May 14, 1948, to the sacrifice of this thing, okay, and it was just a practice? No, it wasn't. It was massively significant because it was 77 years and 7 times 7 days. And that's a coincidence? No, I don't think so. And that's also 7 times 7 days, 77 years, and 77 times 7 days is also 77 years and 7 weeks, or 777. And that's a big number for God and a big number for Israel and all that. Sevens are big for spiritual Israel, not for the government of Israel. That's the synagogue of Satan, that they love the 666. That's why the Star of David is so called the Star of Moloch, and it represents 666. It's crazy. Anyway, and so this sacrifice happened on 7/1/25. Now, what's really showing here? What's hiding here? Right here. This is 717 in the name Yahweh. 717. Even though these are Yud Yud Ha Vav He. Yud He Vav He. Yud He Vav He. You read it from here and you go this way. It's right to left. Yud He Vav He. Yud He Vav He. Or Yahweh. But Yahweh is the American version of saying that. And the original, what I've been able to find from my research, is Yahuwah is the better translation of this. But this has been altered. Even what they say in Israel and stuff is usually not the most accurate. You got to go in certain circles, and this has all been altered, so it's control. They use it as control. the original name of God and all that stuff. In fact, they don't even say that. A lot of them don't even say the name of God and everything. They don't even say this name because they just won't speak it because they say it's too powerful and all that stuff. Anyway, so anyway, and then watch this. So you got 7/1/25 when they sacrifice that, and it just happens to be what looks like 7/17. And then also in I don't get into that. Forget that. Okay, and then also when that invasion happened on the 7th of October 2023, that is 7/1. Take away the 0. 2 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. See how that is? They're promoting the first day that's coming. The first day is going to be a first day in a month of 7, and then a year of 25. Now watch. This is crazy. And they're also promoting the false god. See, they don't believe in the real God. They're the synagogue of Satan. They believe in the God of this world that's going to be in a human being. Well, not really a human being. he's a clone of a human being. He's going to die and then come back to life. Okay, so that's what they worship, and they look at him as the real Yahweh, or you can call him Yahweh, whatever. But I know what his real name is, and whatever. And I'm not going to debate that. If you have post stuff saying, "Oh, this is what his real name is," on it, I've done a lot of research over the years. I've done 34 years of biblical research and all kinds of research and stuff. I know the names of God, and I know the names of. I know Jesus's name. I know it's not really technically Jesus, but it doesn't matter because that's what most of the world knows it as, and that's what I know it as since I was born again when I was 18, and that's what matters, and it works. I've cast out demons. I've healed people with the name of Jesus. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's semantics, really. And say what you want about it. It doesn't matter, okay? I know it works. I've used it. The demons that I've dealt with, they fear it. I've been healed myself, and other people I've healed with his name. It's been miraculous, and that's not by chance. So, keep all your ultra-religious arguments to yourself. Go somewhere else with that if you want to argue with somebody about what you think the truth is. Because I already know, and I don't want to debate you. I have no interest in debating anybody. I know what I know, and I'm here to share this, and you're here. You came to where I'm at, and so if you don't want to hear it, don't come here, and just go somewhere else. If you want to debate, or you want to say any negative stuff, I'm just going to warn everybody right now. Any negative stuff, any debate about what I'm talking about, you're gone in 2 seconds. Deleted. Bye-bye. Out of here. See ya. Okay, so that's it. And then what's 7/1/25 hiding? These things right here. This date right here, that the sacrifice of the red heifer, the real one that I think has happened. And then this of the invasion because of the red heifers, they said literally 99 days after the invasion happened, Hamas got up on in video, and they said one of the main reasons they invaded is because of the red heifers, and they were going to build a temple soon and all that stuff. So this date and that date, okay, what is it really showing? Right there. 7 on the Roman calendar, the 7th month is Septem, and Septem in Latin means 7. That's September 1st, the first day. That kicks all the timeline off. This is crazy. And this is 7/17, the fake Yahweh. Not the real one, not the Yahuwah or whatever, okay? I know, Jesus' name is really Yahushua. It's not the most people think, even about the Hebrew name and everything. It's not. It's not. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Anyway, and I'm not getting into all that. Okay, so Yahweh is also this is the English version, of course, and because it's meant to be that way for programming. So 70, and by the way, with the rule of Kalel, you could take one away or add one. If you add one, that's 71. Same thing as Tikva, or the day the day they sacrifice that, which is 7/17. Remember, and that would be 71 if you added a 1, because you could do that with the rule of Kalel. I'm sorry, but the English language, and ultimately the newest Hebrew language that was been altered from the original Paleo Hebrew, has been changed and altered and used for control by the synagogue of Satan. Because Satan is the god of this world until Jesus comes back and kicks his butt. That's it. That's the truth. Sorry if you don't agree. It's too bad. Okay, 8 right there. Watch this. 8 in Yahweh, in 70 / add 1 with the rule of Kalel, 71, like Tikva, like July 1st, or just July in general, whatever. Okay, 8. Then 8 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 is 18. Oh, do you see a pattern here? Plus 1, 8, 18, 8, 19, 25. And this is backwards. A lot of these things are almost exactly, or very close to exactly backwards. It's crazy. Again, Why is that? Because everything Satan does is opposite of God. Backwards, upside down, and backwards, upside down, opposites, black, white, opposites, all that stuff. And then look, first and last letter code of Yahweh, Yahweh, or people call him Yahweh, Yahweh. I'm not getting into all that. All these different things that people called him over the years, and whatever. I call him Father. that's the technical term, Father. That's what I call him, Father. He's my Father in heaven. So anyway, H is 8, first and last letter code, which I do, and most people don't do that. I've never really seen anybody do first and last letter code. That's again, you got 25th of August on the Julian calendar when the Antichrist is sacrificed, and he is the fake Yahweh in this world, the fake God of this world, the fake Lord of this world. I think that's actually what Yahweh means, Lord, or something like that. Anyway, I try to remember. Anyway, I got all this stuff in my head for years and stuff, and I'm getting older and more senile. No, anyway, and in Hebrew, that is Yahweh spelled out is 26 because it's the Yud is 10 and the Hey is 5 and Vav and then Hey is that. Okay, now watch. So we got 10, and then 5 plus 6 plus 5 is 16. Now watch, keep reducing this. 10 and 1 plus 6 is 7. Oh, look, 10, 7. Or 10 plus 7 is 17. Or add these put these together, take out the 0, and you have 116, which is upside down and backwards. 9, 1, and then 1. I can say it that way. I can't say it the way you normally say it, because you boob does all kinds of stuff even more to me. They shadow ban me even more than they already do, which is a tremendous amount. They massively shadow ban me. It's insane. I mean, I have 32 plus thousand subscribers, and I'm lucky lately to get 4,000 or 5,000 views. What? I mean, and I used to get, a few years ago, I used to get 70, 80, 100,000 views and all that stuff many times and all that. And I'm lucky to have 2 pennies to scrape together. It's crazy because they're stopping me from getting my message out. They've also taken many videos down from me proving who Trump really is and how he's, before all this, Jeff Ryan Epstein stuff came out and all that stuff, even before they arrested him and all that stuff, I've been talking about how he's connected to him and Maxwellonius lady and all that, because that's all Masadals, okay? It's all Masadals. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. I got to try to find a way to cover it up. But they're all Masadals agentsals. I mean, and to control both sides, double agents and all that stuff. It's not even whatever. So then also again, like I said, 10, 7 is 17, which is 8 plus 9, and that's 8, 18. 8 plus 9 is 17. Anyway, okay, so that's all in that. Again, 8, 18, and then I showed you how it's 9, 1, and then 1 right here. And this is the timeline. Now, this is important. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but this is the timeline right here that I'm talking about. Now, this is the alternate one that could happen if this doesn't happen. Now, I am not as sold on this. A lot of people are sold on this day right here, and I think it may be a red herring. We know this day happened back in 2017, and we know also 2 years before that, Obama, Sticky B.O., and the Robo-Pope got together on 9/23/2015, and they basically, I'm telling you, they sealed a pact. They got married. It's just crazy. And that's going to consummate at some point here very soon. And a date that equals this, and I'm going to show you here at the end of my video how the date they did that, 9/23/2015, is really a date that's coming up here. But anyway, this is the day. So this is what I'm on right now. So this is the Julian for J, okay? These are the Julian dates. These, again, the timeline pinned to the top of comments of all the events. But this is the first day, the third and fourth day, fourth and fifth day. This is the 7th and 8th day. Again, 7th is 2 plus 5 is 7. 2 plus 6 is 8. And then, again, 11th day, 12th day, and then the last day, 9/1 and 9/2. In fact, so crazy about this, 9/1 and 9/2 are the last days on this, but the first day and the second day on this one, right? That's how this works for the 13-day cycle. The difference between Julian and Gregorian. And these are the 2 dates of World War II. World War II began on September 1st and ended on September 2nd. And that's all a coincidence? I don't think so. That's predictively programming this, I believe. The beginning of the timeline or the end of this one. which is, again, these are the same exact days. So this day will be the first day, and this would be the pre-day, and this would be the first day. I could call them the first days. Okay, so this is on the Gregorian. This is what most Western people know. But then if you're on there's still a few cultures that are on the Julian calendar. It's crazy, but this exact day that these are going on, these 2 days these are going on, these 2 days will be going on the exact day. But the calendar is just 13 days earlier. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the pre-day later in September is 18th, and then 19th is the first day. 1 plus 9 is 10, and then take away 0, that's 1. And this is the third and fourth day. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 plus 2 is 4. Fourth and fifth day. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 3 is 5. Whatever. And these are all the same as far as the numerology, but this is the one I'm looking at more because there's more things. There's some interesting things and some crazy things that line up with these as well, but these are more. There's more with this. And so, but if this doesn't happen, then I'm going to have to go with this. Again, these are all my best guesses based on the information that I've found over the years, what I know now, the inspiration I've been given by the Lord, all kinds of stuff. The numerology, again, I study their evil numerology, but then I also know biblical numerology because God created numbers. And he even says in Revelation 13:18, if anyone who has wisdom, calculate the number of the beast, and his number is 666. And I've shown how Stinky B.O., the 44th president, Barack Hussein, and Obama, is 666 in like 50 ways or more, probably more, maybe mark 60 some. Anyway, and I've shown these all over his name in the 4 base ciphers of Gematria, English, full reduction, reverse full reduction, and reverse English. You add those up, and that equals 666. That's just one example of things I've showed over the years, and how he's connected to the Pope that died recently back in April. But he's gonna die, and they're both gonna come back to life. All this stuff. This is all in my timeline pinned to the top of comments. Anyway, let me keep going here. Okay, so I want to talk about letters that show up by themselves out there in the mass media. And one of those is X. Ever wondered why all these X things? Like, there's so much more than I'm going to show right now. Okay, there's so much more than this. But look, why did Twitter become just X? Or why is there space X? Okay, or why did Wonder Woman smack her bracelets together, do an X? And here she is shoulder to shoulder with with Chadwick Boseman play the Black Panther, and he does the Wakanda Forever, which is an X, and they both do two different things, completely different things, and from two different universes, DC and Marvel, and they both do the X. Why is that? Because they're programming you. Hello, McFly. Hello, McFly. Hello. I mean, seriously, wake up. So here's some examples of the past. X-Files, The X Factor, The X-Men. I mean, why? Why? I'll tell you why. And look at these two eclipses. This eclipse that happened in 2023, October 14th. And then this one happened even before that. That was in 2017, August 21st, 2017. And this happened to cross both of these most recently, April 8th, 2024. And it made an X right here and then made an X right there. Two X's, X and X. Okay, why? And then even this added this in what God is communicating to people. What's going on here? And I shared this back then in April 8th, or before April 8th, a couple months before that this was showing that something's coming big, and it was the Aleph. So this is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and that's Aleph. This is the Paleo version. So this is the symbol of Aleph. The first day, and guess what? More evidence that the red heifer was sacrificed on the first day. Here's the heifer with horns. By the way, a female heifer can have horns. A lot of other bulls, some other cattle and stuff. The females are, they're called. I can't remember what it's called. Where they remove the horns, or they're bred to not have horns. The females, but that is a female heifer, and that's Aleph for the first number 1. Or A, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and that's the Paleo version. And then over time, it went to this, and then now it's this. I mean, is there any similarity to this and that? But watch this. See this right here, Aleph? It looks like it's a sideways A. Okay, watch. Do you see something similar here? Turn this whole thing upside down, and it's an Aleph. And it's also a bull, or a heifer, or whatever. Look at that. Horns, head, that's it. I can see how this could become that, but not that. That has nothing to do with either two of these. Man, my nose is all getting funky now. It has nothing to do with it at all. I mean, it's crazy. It's nuts. But look at that. That is a message that this is coming, and I'm trying to interpret what it means. It means the first day. It means and then when that sacrifice happened, it's confirming that the first day, the 7th month, the first day. What's the 7th month first day on the Roman calendar? And because Trump said it himself years ago when he was talking about 9-1-1. He said, I was down there on 7/11, and he said that September is 7. Anyway. So then Aleph also is 42, which is 24 backwards. What's 24? 24 is X. X is the 24th letter of the alphabet. And then Aleph, which is this guy right here, just happened, which is X and X. Well, this is upside down, but X, and X equals 24. And Aleph happens to be 24 backwards. And not only that, it just happens to be what? Watch this. 2 plus 5 is 7, and then a 1. And then 1 plus 16 plus 8 is 25. And that just happens to be X. And Aleph is a symbol of a red heifer or a bull. It's really the red heifer, I'm sure. And then that happens to exactly equal the date the red heifer was sacrificed? I don't think so. That's more massive off-the-charts coincidence. Of course, this could mean other things too, or it could be something else. Yes, but look at that. I'm just showing you all these things that coincide, and they're planned. They're too off-the-charts. They're too big to be random, man. They're just too big. Okay, and then this is when, again, Hamas invaded Israel on October 7, 2023, and the media, American media and the Israeli media said that this event was Israel's 9-1-1. Okay, so let's take that and go to this next 9-1-1 this year, and we have 1 year and 340 days, and there's other things I could show you. Now, but watch. And one of the big reasons why they invaded, they said it was because of the red heifers. And look, 3 plus 4 is 7, and 0. 1, 7, 0, or 17. Take it with 0, or October 7th. October 7th. Look at that. Okay, now let's take that invasion and let's go back to the original, because they said it was a form of 9-1-1. Okay, they said it was Israel's 9-1-1. Now let's go from back the original real 9-1-1. Let's go to this invasion. Look, it's 8 backwards. It's 26th of August, and I was showing you the 25th of August earlier. How that's 7-8. These different articles about the red heifers and everything were 7-8, 8-7, which is 25th of August, and that's the day that the red heifer, the real one, Stinky BO, the 44th president, the Antichrist, is sacrificed. And the reporting day of that is 8:20, or it's 8:26. It's 8:25 the day it happens on the Julian, and then 8:26, or it happens on the Gregorian on September 7th and September 8th. And by the way, September 8th is also the day that the Queen died back in 2022. Again, 2022 was 9/8. 2022 was also 9/15, 7 days after the Queen died. Believe it or not, 7 days after the Queen died back in 2022, the red heifers arrived in Israel. Are you kidding me? Exactly 1 week or 7 days, and that has nothing to do with it? I don't think so. And she was sacrificed? Yeah, please. There's all kinds of things like this. Now watch this. Now, let's take the original 9-1-1 back in 2001 and this one coming this year, and it's not significant. Well, watch. What's the difference between those two? Oh, it's 24 years. And what's 24? X. X is the 24th letter. See? It's about this. You'll see. Or it won't happen. It'll be some other version of that, but I think it will. But we'll see. It's my best guess right now. But this is insane. And then let's take 24 years. Let's spell out 24 years, and look, we have 17 or 7-1, or we have 10-7, just like that. Look at that. That's a coincidence. 24 years, exactly 10-7, like that. Or it's also 7-1 backwards. Take away the 0. when the red heifers were sacrificed, and then this is the X is a symbol of that. I mean, are you kidding me? I don't think so. Now listen, okay, I'm going to talk to you about X being a standalone letter, okay? Again, and all this thing I showed about X. But I'm going to explain another aspect of this by showing you another different letter, standalone letter, and that is S. In Superman. Okay? S. Okay, so what is the thing about X or S or whatever a single letter that's out there on something? It's showing you two things. It's showing you something. Now, and also recently, do we need another Superman movie? I mean, really, it wasn't that long before Man of Steel was out, and it was way better movie. Way better movie. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's way better. It's just not even. This one was a joke. I mean, it was an absolute joke. I mean, you literally took James Gunn, who did Guardians of the Galaxy, and he made Superman, and he made it a joke. I thought it was a joke. If you liked it, I'm sorry, but I thought it was a joke. It just, man, it was horror. I thought it was horrible. It was horrid. It was horrid. They made his family that sent him there say that ultimately the message turned out to be that his family, his father and his mother, who normally did it for altruistic reasons to help the earth and send their son there. In this movie by James Gunn, they made him. They told him that they wanted him to subject everybody and have a harem of women and all kinds of stuff, and he just misheard the message was messed up, and he heard it a certain way, and it was all good and everything, and so it became good. But then when it was deciphered by, or correctly translated, or deciphered, correctly fixed, the message was fixed by Lex Luthor, then it was a message really bad. I mean, anyway, it's just a joke. It's a joke. That's a little side note on that. The movie was just horrid. I could not believe it. Anyway, well, I mean, so many are, but I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just saying. I was hoping it would be somewhat entertaining, but it was just too much. So anyway, S is 19. Okay, so 19. So what it's showing you is, okay, S is 19. So you're seeing 19 without even realizing. You're seeing S on his chest, okay, and it's 19. What's 19? 1st of September. Or September 1st. I mean, it's backwards or forward. It doesn't matter. 1st of September or September 1st. But what we don't know is they look at these numbers as the opposites. The S is S on the opposite, going from A to Z, and then Z to A, is S is the 8th letter. Starting from Z and going backwards, S is the 8th letter. So we'll look at this. We have 9-1 hidden in 19, or 1st of September, and then we have in reverse it's 8. So look, let's go backwards now. 8-19, add 13 days. So this is 8-19, the first day on the Julian calendar. Add 13 days, and you have 9-1. See how it's both? This is what's going on. There's stuff that they're hidden in these things, and I'm telling you. Now watch. So again, look, the first day, 8-19 on the Julian is 9-1, and that is S. S is 19 and 8, forward and reverse, and then it's also 19 is 9 and 1, or 1 and 9. Doesn't matter, either way you look at it. And then to prove that even more, there's another date in September that's hidden in the opening date of this, and that's July 11th. Again, remember I said that, already said this, that Trump said, I was down there on 7/11, and there is 7/11. We know that is 7 is September 11. Okay, but watch this even more. Okay, watch this. Now I'm going to color code this. 7 plus 2 is 9, and then 1, 1, and then 25. That is literally, if you color code this, and 0 is gone, get rid of it. Look, that's what this is showing here. This is the date it actually came out, and this is what it means. And this was destruction. And by the way, this is the tsunami day, and in the movie, there's a crack in the water, and the water and the crack is coming towards Manhattan. I mean, and this is the day that Manhattan is destroyed and New York's destroyed by a tsunami, the 11th and 12th day. And that was, this is all shown in predictive programming. It's countless movies. All these dates in the timeline I've shown. And then Superman is not only the 11th day and the first day, it's proving out that what I just said is in, look, 1st of September, 7 equals 7 is September in Latin. And 1st of September, 9 being 9. See, September 1st, September 1st. And then first and last letter code again of Superman is SN, and that is S is 19, N is 14. Well, what's 19 plus 14? That's 33. They love the 33. Again, we're talking about Freemasonry, and the biggest level, the top one is 33, but then it goes beyond that. But the one that most try to get to is the 33rd degree Mason, Freemasonry, but it goes beyond that. But anyway, and then watch this. I'm going to bring these two down. 19 and 1 plus 4 is 5. And what's that? 9 in the middle of 15, or 915, or 15th, just because I'm doing it the way this is shown backwards. So 15th, that's the last day of the timeline. 15th of September. So we got the first day of the timeline shown in Roman. And this is also 10-7. See? You see this? This is 10-7 or 17. Like I'm saying. So 17 is 7-1, which is really 9-1. You get it? And then we have 9-15 hidden in first and last letter code. Hopefully you get this. It's crazy. Okay, again, so we did that with S. Now what's an X? Why are we showing X? Not only is it the 24, because it's 24 years from 9-1 and 1, it's also because X is 24th letter, and it's from Z going backwards, it's the third letter. Now let's just put these two together. 243. The 243rd day of the year is 831, the pre-day of the timeline on the Gregorian. And the first day is 9-1, and the pre-day is 831, the 243rd day of the year. X, 24th letter, and the third letter starting from Z going backwards. And that's another massive off-the-charts coincidence? I think not. And then X is not only 24th letter, in the Roman, again, we're talking about Roman calendar, revised Roman, all this stuff. These people are really, it's Roman. It's revised Roman, like the Bible says. It's revised Roman Empire. Okay, so of course it's going to be that. So then that Roman numeral, X is Roman numeral 10. And then watch, is going to relate to this at all? Yes, watch. 10 in gematria is what? 24 backwards. 24 backwards. And there's also in reverse full reduction, it's 5-1, or the fifth month in Roman calendar is July 1st. The sacrifice of the red heifer, July 1st. July is the fifth month in the Roman calendar, first, and the 24 backwards. You understand? Man, my nose is getting plugged over for some reason. Man, I'm just... This is crazy. Anyway, I'll just keep going. I normally had to grab something to blow my nose. I don't have something right away. Great. Awesome. Hey, let's do this. Okay. And then 10 is also in English Sumerian, which is normal English times 6, and then reverse English times 6 right here. English Sumerian, reverse English Sumerian. Watch this. You just switch these two numbers. Switch the 3 and the 4 and switch the 5 and the 2, and you have 243, 225. Or the 243rd day of 2025 is right here, 831. And that just happens to be in 10. The 243rd day of 2025. Just switch these two numbers and switch these two numbers. And that's why, again, these things are hidden in plain sight, like I've shared in videos for years. You just have to make little tweaks. They're backwards, they're scrambled a little bit. They're an anagram. They're this, that, the other thing, upside down and backwards, opposites, whatever. Okay? Boom. Okay, so again, here's the timeline right here. And what am I sharing right here? Why did I have this on 829? Because back in 2015, when I started getting, this is over 10 years ago now. Well, when we get to 829, it'll be almost exactly 10 years ago, which is a few days from now. It's crazy. But on 8/29/2015, I had a dream. I had a crazy dream. I've shared this in the past, but a lot of you haven't heard this, especially the ones that listen to the video now. But I had a dream, and literally it gave me the exact day of something without even guessing. Lord gave me the exact day with... Now I'll share it with you here. Man, my nose is crazy. This is crazy. Why is this happening right now? Okay, anyway. So earlier that day, before I had the dream, I was playing. I played. We were actually staying. We were house sitting. We're actually. I had my daughter at the time. She was just. She was a young little girl. I forget exactly how old right now on top of my head, but she's a little girl, okay. And I didn't have any of my other kids, of course, because they were younger and they came later. Or they're younger, they came later. And we were house sitting in a house, but we were homeless at the time. It was a long thing, long story with all that stuff. But and then they had some games on the shelf, and my daughter grabbed this game, and she wanted to play this game, and she had never played it before, and we played this game. And I'm gonna show you what it is in a second. But then later, when I went to sleep, and I had this dream that night on August 29th, 2015. I had this dream, and then a little bit after that, on the 9/28, which is 9/10, which is this exactly backwards, was the blood moon. The blood moon, the last blood moon, and the tetrad blood moons. So this, oh, by the way, this is on the Julian. This is when I saw this, and this is supposed to be. If this is the right day, this is when the faithful leave, and including me. When the faithful leave on this day, 9/1 and then 1, because it's the 11th day. It's the tsunami. It's when the faithful are taken off the earth, and then 9/28 backwards is 8/20. Or sorry, 8/29 backwards is 9/28, or the day of the last blood moon. That was about almost a month later. Okay, and then that is 9/28 is 9, 2 plus 8 is 10, or 9/1. You get it? 9/1. That's crazy. 9/1. So anyway, here we go. So she pulled out this game Trouble when we played it and everything. But for the dream, I was almost like I replayed what she did, but I was sitting on the table and at the table, and she brought over this game, and she said, and literally she comes over and says, "Daddy, can we let's play this game. Let's play this game." And I'm like, "Oh no, no, she no, this is what she did. Oh my gosh, I'm all scatterbrained. This is exactly what she said. She said, she goes, "Daddy, let's play America's in Trouble. Daddy, let's play America's in Trouble." I'm just thinking about a bunch of things at once right now, so I had to get myself back to that situation, the dream, which was very shocking in a way, also. But Daddy, let's play America's in Trouble. So she had this little tiny little voice. Daddy, let's play America's in Trouble, and then it went from her tiny voice to God's booming voice. America's in trouble, like that. I was like, oh my God, and I knew that was God was in her at that point. I was like, okay, and so she set it down, and then I was like, I felt like I should pop the bubble. This bubble right here. There's a bubble. And if you don't know this game, there's a die in here that's 1 through 6. A die that's 1 through 6 right here. And then you go around this board with these little pegs or whatever. She said, "Let's play, Daddy. Let's play America's in Trouble." And there was a game called Trouble. The game is called Trouble. There's colors and everything go around this board. And then I'm like, okay, so I felt like I should push the button. I popped the bubble, and it was a 2. And then she just like looked at me like, or she, whatever, looked at me like she pop again, and I popped again. So first one was a 2, and I popped again, and it was a 5. And then I said, okay, so you're saying America's in trouble with 25, and I said, well, what I said was, I said, so is America, and I kind of knew what to say, kind of, sort of, or knew what to ask. I said, so is America in trouble in 25 years? He says, no. And I go, is America trouble in 25 months? No. Is America in trouble in 25 weeks? No. Is America, or I said, no, actually I said, I'm sorry. I said, in 25 days, no, I said, in 20, this is what I said. I said, in 25 days is America in trouble, or whatever. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. Man, it's trying to remember exactly what I said while I'm trying to do a video sometimes. I said, uh, is, what was it now? In America, I have it written down now because I'm getting all flustered now. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. So I said, in 25 days, so I said, in 25 days, America's in trouble. That's what it was. In 25 days, America's in trouble. And then he said, yes. So I said, months, weeks. I said, years, months, weeks, days. And he said, yes. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Okay, so anyway, then I had this in my head. So again, I'm trying to think of different things. I'm going to get ahead of myself a little bit. But okay, and then, so I woke up, and then
I was like, 25 days, what is it? And then, so I literally went to a calendar. There was a calendar on the wall of this house. And I looked at, I'm like, okay, last night was the 29th. And then I'm counting 25 days. And oh my gosh, it's 9/23 or September 23rd. And at that time, I didn't know what September 23rd was. I mean, it's 2015. I mean, it was, no one's talked about like the Revelation 12 sign in 2017 yet or anything like that. I didn't know what it was. I was like, okay, what's on September 23rd or 9/23? I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay, so, and then a few days passed, whatever, and I was on the internet. I was doing research. The Lord told me about looking at blood moons, and I was looking at blood moons, and I knew these blood moons were happening, and another was going to happen soon. And then I saw news on the internet. I was like, it said that Obama and the Pope are going to meet, and that he's going to be here on the 23rd, or 22nd, 23rd, whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh. He said 25 days, America's in trouble, and I'm like, he's coming, and then this is happening, and at that point, before this, I was told that he was the Antichrist, and my daughter confirmed it telling me about something about Obama, and then she didn't know anything about who he was or anything, and then she saw it on TV because before that, she had this dream about going down on the ground with some other kids, and they saw this man in a suit, and he was telling people on computers to create hurricanes, earthquakes, and tornadoes, and they were doing them on computers. And she told me this, right? And I'm like, oh, that's crazy, whatever. And then literally, she didn't know who. I'm like, who was it? I don't. She didn't know who. So some guy, a man in a suit. And then it was like a couple of years later, or a year later, something like that, on the TV. After a couple of weeks before, a couple of weeks after, the Lord told me that Stinky BO was the Antichrist. Somehow our TV was on Fox News or something, which I didn't really watch TV too much at the time, whatever. But it was on, and I think it was just on some channel. And then she goes, "That's the man, Daddy. That's the man I saw in my dream," and it was Stinky BO, 44th Pres, Barack Hussein Obama. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my daughter knew who the Antichrist was like a year before I did. And then I was just told it a few weeks ago, and then she just confirmed by seeing it on TV and seeing that's the guy that was telling people on computers underground. And I figured out it was DIA, and that he lives way down DIA as a main bunker, and then they cause all these things, these so-called natural disasters, and they do it all by weaponry and stuff and technology and stuff. And it's crazy. And my daughter knew that before me when she was 5 years old. When she first got it, when she was like 5 years old, a dream. That one, she's got other since then, and around that time and everything. It was just crazy. I was like, what? And that's how I know that he's that. But then the Lord told me after that, and then he confirmed it with my daughter saying, "That's the man, Daddy," and all this stuff. And there's no way. Explain that. Explain that. She had never seen him. I never talked about him to her ever. Why would I? To a 5-year-old girl? I mean, or even before that. Never. I mean, I never talked about, I mean, I didn't talk about politics myself. I mean, really. And then the Lord's telling me that, that Mystery Babylon is America, and this guy is the Antichrist. I'm like, what? As the Lord's talking to me one day, and I was like, wow. So then I'm like, okay, so I realized they're getting together, and this is going to be America's in trouble. And then, so then they met, and nothing happened. I was like, whatever. But then over time, he started showing me that there's something's going to happen because of this. And then over time, he showed me that they got married, they exchanged gifts, they did stuff, and they're going to rule together. And it's just a crazy, wow, it's just crazy. Anyway, I'm not getting all that. So anyway, so in 25 days, okay, it's sectioned here. I believe in 25 days is 221 and 211. Now watch this. 831 is the pre-day, and 9/1 is the first day. And the days left over is 122, which is 122 backwards right here, 221. And then days left over, 121 is one. Just switch these two, 121. By the way, 121 equals Antichrist. In English Gematria, the birth of the Antichrist is a day with 121 days left over, and Antichrist equals 121. That's a coincidence? I think not. And then if I were to just say 25 days, America's in trouble. Just 20. I think it was in 25 days. I said in 25 days, America's in trouble. I could have said 25 days, America. I could have said 25 days, America's in trouble. Either way, it doesn't matter. That's how these messages with God work. They're so multifaceted. It's crazy. Now watch this. Now this, remember, these are the days left over, kind of hidden and even backwards. And this one even scrambled a little bit. And then remember that these days, if you take 13 days off and go back to the Julian, That is 19th of August and 18th, or August 18 backwards plus 1, which is 19. Or real clear, you could take any one away. So you take that one away, and you have 8 19 backwards and 8 18 backwards and 8 19. Add 13 days to get to the Gregorian, and you have the day with 122 days left over right there. Day with 121 days left over right there. And that's all coincidence? Okay, no. And then watch this. So in 25 days or 25 days, America is in trouble. It's about when it's finally destroyed, when the destruction begins, which is on 831 and 9-1, like I just showed you. And then when it's finally destroyed by nukes, it's on the last days, which is 9 in the middle of 14, 9-14, the last day, and the last 2 days is 9-14, 9-15, as I've been saying for a long time, the 14th and 15th day. And watch this, 7 plus 2 is 9, and then 1, 5, 9-15, 9-14, and 9-15. And that's another massive off-the-charts coincidence to what I'm talking about. So when you put these two together, you have the first days on Gregorian and Julian, and you have the last days on the Gregorian. In 25 days, America is in trouble. I should put a question mark there. Crazy. And then, you could have knocked me over the feather earlier today when I'm putting this together, and then I remember him saying, yes. Yes. And it was so, it hit me. It was so like, him saying yes also. And then I just realized today what yes means. Yes is the first attack day, the 4th of September. And it's also, look at this exactly backwards, 9-15-25. Man, I got goosebumps right now. And I get this a lot actually, but it's been a little bit since I've gotten something this big. A little bit. It's been a minute since I got something this big. I mean, look at the 9-4, the first attack day, 9-4 and September 4th and 5th, the 4th and 5th days. Look at my timeline, pinned to the top of comments. And the last 2 days are 9-14, 9-15, and 9-15-25. Yes. And this is all off the charts coincidence? No, and I'm not saying it's definitely this time. I'm saying that whatever it is going to massively relate to everything I'm saying and going to be on this 15/60-day timeline. And that's the way it is. And then watch this. So this is when they got together, when he said 25 days. Literally, it was exactly 25 days after he showed me on August 29th, which is 9/28 backwards, or 9/10 or 9/01. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And that was the day of the last blood moon. The tetrad blood moons, warning people of the end times that are coming and all this stuff. And then watch this. So look, I'm color coding this. 9/23/2015. And that's hiding the last day I just showed you. Yes. Is September 9. Look at this. See that 15 in this date? 15 is right here. 15. And then watch. 23 plus 2 is 25. Now, you don't have to have this to have the date. You can literally go 9/15/25 and everybody knows what it is. These are just added there to be used for predictive programming. Okay, so we know. So look at that. This is hiding that. And then to confirm that even more, when you add this, when you go from this to this, you get 9 years and 357 days, or 9 September. 3 plus 5 plus 7 is 15. 9/15. So we have September 15th, 25, September 15th, 25, and September 15th. And other things. It's crazy. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. But, so, man, I can do so much more. And this is just, again, I still got goosebumps. And I can't, whatever. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But right now, I just want to talk about my son. Okay, so this was when he was in the hospital. The first day he was in the hospital, and he was looking like kind of grayish or very, very pale, as you can see, before his treatments, before he started getting insulin and all that he needed for his type 1 diabetes and all that stuff. And again, I believe he's going to be healed. I am claiming he's going to be healed, and he's already healed by the stripes of Jesus that he's already paid for. And that mentality, that belief that I have, has healed my family in so many ways, and myself and others. I've seen miraculous, off the charts healing of people, including myself, in the name of Jesus and stuff. And so I don't know what's going on here. So, but it's really helped. It's really pushed me to pray like insane and be super holy and super like listening like more than ever and all this stuff. So if there's something I take out of this, that's it. But I don't like this. I don't, and I do not like it. I do not want it. I want him to be healed. And so anyway, and then here's him after the treatments, the first couple treatments in the hospital, and he looks so much better. Again, I call him as a nickname Cars. And that's all I'll say for our privacy and everything. And then I have never shared this, and I'm only sharing it because we need help. God helps. God provides for us, but it's through people, and we need help. I have literally less than $30 in my account right now. And part of it is because of my son right here. He needs other kinds of food, and we have to buy different kinds of food to keep him better and more, more protein, more of this and more of that. We've done decently, but I make nothing. And then my income by getting donations from you is what we get. And that's what the Lord's required from me to do this. Whether you agree with it or not, I don't care. And if you have any problem with it, don't even bother. Okay, this is my faith walk. This is what the Lord has me do. I don't want to do that. I used to have good jobs that made money, and then the Lord tell me to do something else and do this thing for free, or do this, or go somewhere where I didn't make anything to get to this person and to bring this person to the Lord or whatever. That's been my life. There's times I've made money, but then it was for a short time to do something else or to do something else or whatever. So if you're able to help, we could use it. I have the description in the description box. I have Zelle Pay or PayPal. If there's other ways, you could let me know in comments or whatever that you could get. But and then we haven't had insurance for years because we just trust so much. We have crazy trust. I believe in crazy trust in God, in the Lord Jesus Christ. That's it. But when something like this happens, it's like, I'm not going to be stupid and just have my kids sacrificed at the altar of stupidity. There's no way. If he had been healed by now, and he has been healed in many ways, like I've said, but I believe he will be, and whether it's soon or when the children are taken on the fourth or fifth day, that's in my timeline, by the way, then he will be then, and that's fine, okay? But we need help with also some of these things that insurance doesn't cover that we're having to cover, and we're just scraping. Oh my gosh! Like I said, I have less than $30 in my account right now at this moment, and we have to even go to a food bank and all that stuff here and there because we just have so little, and it's just what it is. But my son, he deserves more than that. He's so innocent. And then this is my other son, that they're twins. This is Cars, and again, I won't get into any more than that. And this is the first time I've shared on YouTube anything about them because I don't want the world corrupting this. They're perfect. They're amazing. They're good and they're pure. And it's a travesty that any kid has a disease or anything. So if you're able to help in any way, thank you. Sorry, it's not right. I still trust Jesus 100% because he's done incredible stuff in our lives. And he saved these guys in so many ways. And the way they were born and everything. And the message that's in them as the twins and all that stuff. It's off the charts. Things I've shared over the years and such. So I just thank you if you're able to give. And I just implore anybody, if you're able to give, we need it right now. I need to be able to take care of this dude, and definitely these dudes and my other two children and my wife. And that's all through me. And it sucks. It really sucks in a lot of ways. I hate begging. I'll do what I got to do for the Lord and for my family. That's it. I will, and I do, and I always have. But I don't want to. When I used to make money, I gave like crazy. I gave, man. because that's just who I am, and I don't like being on the other side of it. I never will like it, and I certainly don't like begging. I just don't like it, but I'll do whatever I have to do. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I just I hope this somewhat blessed you with the details I shared about this red heifer and all that stuff, and then I just thank you. My family's so precious, and anyway, thank you so much, and thank you everybody who's ever prayed and who's praying for my son and for praying for my family and for me and everything, all that, and the ones who've given for so many years. That's another thing. I just ask you to pray for. I'll just call him G. He's given to me probably some of the most ever for the last few years, and he's struggling. I pray for his heart. He's not able to give us much too. That's another strain that we're dealing with. Pray for his heart. Pray for his body. I pray for him all the time. I'll call him and pray for him, and then sometimes he feels better right away. Sometimes or whatever. That's another thing. Sometimes I pray for people and they feel better like right away. And it's crazy. It just that's real. That's God. That's the Lord Jesus Christ working, acting, living in people and living in our words and such. It's so amazing, and I will never not know that or believe that because I've experienced it too many times, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And I've been saved from ruin, and so many times my life's been saved by the Lord several times when I could have been dead. I would have been dead. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. And again, if you're able to give the details in the description box below. And God bless you. God bless everyone who's ever had any kind of positive effect on my ministry. And God, I can't even talk. My nose is so plugged up now. I'm crying. So anyway, thank you so much. And I'll leave it at that. This is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.